Hello and welcome to Arsenal Fan TV. My name is Liam. Today we're going to be looking at the Manchester United game as we lost 3-2 at Old Trafford today. I'm your new host Liam, as I'll be taking over the show. #time added on. So send in your questions via Twitter. You can see my Twitter name at the bottom, at Liam Pierre Edwards, and we'll try and get through as many as we can. But first I'm going to introduce you to Mems. How you doing, mate?
How you doing, Liam?
Yeah, very well, thank you. So before we go in depth and look at individual players, Mems, just give me your 5-minute breakdown of the game from your point of view.
Well, before the game, Liam, when I saw the team lineup, I thought, hello, we've got an opportunity here to turn them over finally, and the win would have been crucial for us as we're going for the title, supposedly. And like I said, when I saw the teams at the beginning, I thought, this will be good. And I saw a few tweets before, people saying this is an opportunity for us to turn them over. 8-2, going on about ridiculous score lines. And I just said, I'll be happy with a 1-0 win. It's never going to be an easy game going to Old Trafford. But I think a few people, including myself, when we saw the teams, we felt quite confident. And the first couple of minutes, I think Monreal had an early opportunity, didn't he, when Ozil put him through, and De Gea just done that save, and it was a big opportunity, that. And if we could have got 1-0 ahead, obviously with the crowd would have got against them, and I think heads would have gone down. But they've got the early goal, and then minutes after that they scored again, 2-0, and our heads dropped. We didn't really create much after that, and Welbeck popped up and got us back in the game. And just before half time, I wanted a bit of a reaction in the second half. I don't really think we created that much, to be honest with you, Liam. Ozil got the goal, and I don't really remember De Gea making that many saves, to be honest with you. We didn't create that much. A bit disappointed with a couple of the players. Thought Theo was poor, Alexis was poor, thought Ramsey was poor. It was disappointed, and make things worse. I've just seen the scores. It looks like Spurs have won again, the 6th league game in a trot. They're up there now in the mix. It's going to be tough now for us to win the league. Honestly, I don't think we're going to be able to do it. I think we're going to be able to fight now for the top 4, and it breaks my heart because this is a missed opportunity this season.
And a lot of people are tweeting, Mems, that this actually feels like a worse defeat than the 8-2 one. And I kind of tend to agree, because when we lost 8-2, our team was awful. I think it's safe to say. But now United's team is just woeful. I mean, half their players, it's like academy team out there. But they turned us over. Would you actually put it down to our clinical chances? Because what it seems to be is that we're just trying to just casually walk it into the net. We're not just having a go. We're trying to fire up. It's just a bit of luck. I think the only guy I'm really going to give praise to today was Ozil. Yeah. He got the assist. Just obviously the goal as well. I mean, Welbeck obviously getting the goal as well. But, what do you think it's down to? Just finishing our chances, just giving it a go, because it's just the same old over and over again.
I think it's a bit of the mentality in the team, Liam, to be honest with you. You don't really see that many players willing to have a dig outside the box. And I agree with you. I thought Ozil played quite well. I thought Welbeck played quite well. Apart from that, I thought the team was shocking. I think the mentality of the team is wrong. We see it so many times. We're willing to pass the ball from side to side and back, and we get a lot of possession. But it's when it comes to clear-cut chances, we don't really create that much. And it's frustrating because we've got so much ability within this team, and it's I can't say exactly what the actual problem is. If I did, I wouldn't be sat in my bedroom watching the game, so I'll be paid a lot of money. But Arsene Wenger is paid a lot of money. He's got over 1,000 games of knowledge and experience behind him, and I'm sure he knows what the problem is. I just wish he would address it. Everyone knew in the summer that we probably needed that world-class striker to finish it off. Maybe that's the difference. Maybe we're not clinical enough. Maybe we need that type of player that can come off the bench and make something happen out of nothing. We don't really seem to be having that. I think it can be a bit of luck. In some games, the goalkeeper we played against has been absolutely world class and been making save after save, but we can't keep on making excuses. Sooner or later, we've got to put our hands up and just say we're just not good enough.
And as much as we're trying to find out what we actually put it down to. You said, Arsene Wenger, thousands of games, so much experience in the bag. Do you think, a lot of people have been, chucking tweets around saying maybe he might walk even at the end of the season. I personally think, he's earning so much money. Why would you, from his point of view? And he's making the club money. Yeah. But could you see something like that happening maybe?
I hoped, Liam, that he would go when we won the FA Cup 2 years ago, mate, at the top. And I thought that would have been a fitting end for him to go with a trophy, with the open bus ride, with him going around North London with a trophy. I thought that would have been a fitting way for Arsene Wenger to go. I think if he was to go at the end of this season, I think it will be quite embarrassing for him to go at this time of year, because it will probably be his best opportunity to win the title in all these years, and he hasn't capitalised. And I think he'll go down as a failure if he was to go at this point. And I think that would be unfair, considering that what he's given us in the 20-odd years. It'll be sad. It'll be sad if he was to go. Personally, my opinion, I hope he does go, and I hope that a new manager comes in who can breed some new ideas into the club, new tactics. We seem to be very stale at the moment. We play the same way week in, week out, and I don't see any change. With some players, they're looking a bit lethargic and doesn't look like they're inspired much, and it's worrying times at the moment, and especially when you see the likes of Leicester sitting at the top of the table and Spurs sitting at the top of the table, because you've seen all the excuses over the years that we can't compete with the Russian oil money and we can't compete with the millionaires. Look at Leicester. It's just amazing what a football club can do when they've got a motivated manager behind them, when they've got team spirit behind them, all the things that Arsenal should have. And we've got no excuses anymore. So in my personal opinion, yes, I hope Arsene Wenger does leave at the end of the season. But I know what everyone's going to be saying. Who do you replace him with? But, that's the common one, isn't it?
Well, I mean, it's such a good point, Mems, because at the end of the day, Leicester's squad is worth around 22 million. They bought the likes of Jamie Vardy from Fleetwood Town for around £1 million. They bought Riyad Mahrez around £400,000. But collectively, they've got a good team with a fantastic manager of Ranieri. And I'm looking at the table here. We're on 51 points. Spurs obviously getting a win. A winner from Danny Rose, I think it was, takes them to 54 points. Leicester on 56. I mean, it's even the fact of Leicester. They've got such a good run now. Where are they actually even going to drop the points? That's the thing that's concerning me. Is teams dropping points at a goal difference is way off from Spurs. So if it went down to goal difference, they would be over us as well. So once again, we're shooting ourselves in the foot, and we are really not helping ourselves at all. I mean, let's talk about some individuals then. I think there's a lot of players who had woeful performances. I'm going to start with Theo Walcott. I think for the majority of that game, I even forgot he was on that pitch. I mean, just give me an analysis from what you think, Mems, of Theo.
No, I agree with you. When I saw the starting lineup, I thought it would be Danny Welbeck up front and Theo on the right. But then when the game started, it seemed like Welbeck was on the right and Theo was up top. And considering that he was playing against Michael Carrick, who's not a centre-back, who's quite limited for pace, and Danny Blind, no one can say that those two are the most intimidating pairings when it comes to centre-backs. And he was made to look very ordinary, Theo. He really got in the game. He should have been looking for his pace over the top of the two and exploiting that. But he wasn't in the game, and I think he got a bit frustrated, Theo, and he came deep a couple of times looking for the ball, and he lost the ball, didn't he, for the first goal on quite a dangerous area. I was very frustrated with Theo today, but I don't think we played to his strengths. Maybe we should have been looking for those balls over the top and using his pace. I see Wenger rotated him. He went out on the right and put Welbeck up front. Theo was poor today. He was absolutely shocking. And he's been dreaming for his chances of being a striker. He's been getting his chances and he ain't delivering. And it's concerning.
Yeah, it really is. And we're letting people like Marcus Rashford, a guy I've never heard of in my life, scored 2 past Petr Cech.
Yeah.
I mean, defending wise, a lot of people have been saying Gabriel for Mertesacker. I think today everyone's like, oh, we should play Per. At least he has half a brain. It's back and forth. I mean, with the defensive attributes from some of the guys today, what do you make of the defence collectively?
Collectively, I thought they were quite poor. I thought Cech, he's Mr. Safe Hands. He made one good save in the first half from Memphis, and from a free kick, he was quite tidy. I thought Bellerin was a bit poor with his passing today. Didn't really give us much going forward. Monreal was quite tidy, missed his early chance. I thought Koscielny was. He wasn't at his best. I've been a bit critical of Koscielny over the last couple of weeks, and he's worrying me. His form's worrying me. And Gabriel, Yeah, he didn't play particularly well today, but let's remember he's had a couple of weeks out, and to come back into a big game like that, it's not going to be easy. I think long term, the partnership of Gabriel and Koscielny will probably be the strongest at the club. But I thought today they were poor, and considering, like you said, that this young lad Marcus Rashford, I don't even know who he is, was able to sort of tear the pair of them apart was quite worrying. Another player I thought, I'm sure you're going to touch on him, Liam, was young Aaron Ramsey. You know, I thought he was absolutely shocking again today. You know, I know, looking at the stats, you'll see that he'll complete 75% of his passes, but what you won't tell you is that those passes were all back or to the side. You know, every time he tried to do a penetrating pass forward, he gave the ball away. He looked weak slow on the ball. His first touch was awful. I saw one of your tweets, that first touch, you know, I thought he was very poor today, Aaron Ramsey. And also Alexis Sanchez, let's not forget, you know, Alexis is, it looks like he's a shadow of the player he was last season.
He hasn't been the same since injury, I think it's safe to say, with Sanchez. And, you know, we mentioned about Ramsey, and it was even some of the balls he's turning, just looking around, there is some easy passes just to lay off. And then you just chuck it through the middle. United get a counter-attack, you know, and it's putting us in awkward positions with Ramsey. So who pulls him up on that? It's got to be Wenger, isn't it?
Yes, but well, I mean, what do we expect from Aaron Ramsey? Is he a defensive player? Is he an attacking player? I mean, is he a winger? You know, no one quite understands what his strengths are, you know, but what does he contribute to the team? You know, I know he bursts into the box and scores a goal every now and then, but I can't remember the last time he really had a positive impact on the game. And I think it's time now that if only Wilshere was playing, I think we're desperately missing Jack Wilshere at this moment, you know, and Santi as well. You know, Santi wasn't playing particularly well, but I think now people can see what he actually brought to the team. Ramsey's form is really worrying me.
Yeah, and I mean, bit of a different one that we don't usually see. Olivier Giroud started on the bench. Just looking here, he is still our top goal scorer with 18 goals. And I mean, look, he gets so much criticism. We paid £12 million for the guy from Montpellier. We understand he's not Luis Suarez. But at the end of the day, for what he can do and what he can actually contribute at times, and it might not be consistent. I mean, I know he went, I think it was 8 consecutive games without scoring a goal, but I think he's just influence can actually put you in a good position. I mean, there's even the assist, the header from where Theo scored against Leicester, little things like that. He doesn't get in the limelight for those kind of things. But let's remember, he's £12 million. We've definitely getting our money's worth with him. Do you think he should have maybe started? I mean, I know it was. I mean, Theo wasn't really getting in there, but would you have started Giroud maybe over Theo?
Considering the opposition that we was playing against, and I could see that they were probably weak when it comes to pace. I could see why Wenger went with the pace option. But one thing that, I mean, Thierry Henry mentioned it before the game. Olivier Giroud sometimes needs to play in a 4-4-2. You know, he's amazing at link-up play, you know, bringing other players into the game. His awareness in and around a box of little knockdowns and little chest downs. He's fantastic at that, and it just frustrates me sometimes that Arsene Wenger keeps on playing with the same formation week in, week out. And we've seen at home games when Wenger's played with 2 DMs where he's had that opportunity to play with 2 strikers. So why not play Theo up top with Giroud, and then maybe the 2 of them can create some sort of understanding and partnership. Theo, you know, he's got different attributes to Giroud, but Giroud has got some good attributes. I mean, his link-up play, he's good in the air. You know, he can score goals out of nothing. And I think his confidence at the moment is hit rock bottom. I mean, what's happened to Joel Campbell? I thought he was playing particularly well, you know, and he's disappeared off the radar again. So it's Arsene Wenger is frustrating me more than any other player, and I just feel like we've blown it, Liam. I feel like, you know, it's an opportunity gone. And if we don't win the title this season, Man City are going to be strong next season with Guardiola. You know, Chelsea are going to improve. You know, United are going to improve. You know, Tottenham. You know, this is a massive, massive opportunity that we've just blown. And I feel really quite devastated at the fact that, you know, we've come so close this season, and it just seems to have just drifted away from us.
I think it's safe to say, Mems, you know, if we don't win it this season, I don't think we ever will, because you put out some great points there. Pep's going to take over at City, and they're going to say, right, Pep, you can have as much money as you want. You want Messi, we'll pay 400 mil for him. We'll pay him 400 grand a week. He's got that luxury.
Yeah.
Club like Arsenal, we don't. And, you know, the matter of the fact is that where do we? I mean, it's just so frustrating. Do we put this on the ball? Do we put this on Wenger? You know, it's so hard to really who to put the blame on in it, Mems. I think it's just.
Do you know what, Liam? It's. I think over the years, Arsene Wenger has had so many excuses that you can possibly imagine. And he's had every type of excuse that you can make up. He's had stadium, referees, World Cups to blame, injury fixtures. You know, he can't compete with big clubs. You know, we're financially not all there. Those excuses are all now finished. And this summer, he had no excuses at all. You know, because he had no hindrance of the World Cup. We were already qualified for the Champions League. He had money available, and we signed one outfield player, which was Petr Cech. You know, and then we signed El Nani in the last window. And I think that if he would really had the ambition, if he was really serious about winning the title, he would have gone out all out this summer and signed the players that we desperately needed. So I think Wenger has got to start taking some responsibility and some blame. DT's just joined us. Say again, DT.
Oh God.
Yeah. Wow, is that a trick question?
I mean,
nice hat.
I mean, DT, you travelled up to Manchester. I mean, you're going to be one of the fans feeling it even more than us. You know, I mean, you've paid the money, you've travelled up there. Just give us your point of view. I mean, just because obviously you're at the stadium, just the feel around the away stand, and just a bit about your analysis of the game, really.
Fans are fuming, absolutely fuming. It's deja vu is the best word for it. Deja vu. It's, to a lot of us, it's no surprise, but it still hurts because I've just been speaking to Robbie, and it's just like, for once in my life, I'm kind of lost for words in a way because I'm so gutted. It's just, how long do we have to keep putting up with this every season? How long until people stop insulting people like me and Mems and people that don't want Wenger at our club anymore? How long until these people wake up and realise that the man is finished? His time is over. It's done. If you cannot motivate your team to go out there against a fucking piss-poor Man United side, when you're going for the title, then it's time to give up. It's as simple as that. You cannot tell me that those players should not have been up for that today. These are the kind of games back in the day that the manager wouldn't have had to say a word to the players. Not a word. But now it's like we got a bunch of babies. We got a bunch of pussies. Put your arm round them. Oh, you poor thing. Oh, yeah, let's not offend them too much or say anything. Oh, yeah, you know. Man, the fuck up. People like Theo Walcott are on 120 to 40 grand a fucking week. And they're putting performances like that in. People like me are sitting there championing Walcott's corner because before he was injured, he was fucking awesome. And then he's putting performances like that in today. It's like, seriously, what more do you need? What do I need to do to motivate you? You could have picked 11 fans from the stand today that would have gone out there and put more heart and more passion into that performance. And our mentality stems from the top all the way down. From Stan Kroenke to Ivan Gazidis to Chips Keswick to Arsene Wenger to the players. Now, I don't care if Arsene Wenger says that, we were a little bit jaded. We were a little bit physically below, or all this bullshit. Man United played on Thursday night, so don't give me that bullshit. Man United are missing half a team, but yet they had a load of substandard players out there that gave 100% commitment. And it was enough to do the job. And I just don't understand where we're going under Arsene Wenger anymore. I don't understand where we're going.
We're going backwards.
This is the problem. Yes, we are. And this is the problem. If you say, oh, but, you know, the players have to stand up and be counted as well, etc. Yes, that's true. The players do have to be stand up and be counted. And yes, these players are on exceptional amounts of money to play for Arsenal Football Club. And yet they perform like what I would see down my local park on a Sunday. The attitude and mentality is disgusting. How the hell are we a title challenging side and we're going out there with that kind of mentality? How? We are not good enough. And I've been saying for months and months and months and months that we will not win this league, because days like today keep coming round the corner oh too often. And I get called every name under the sun. People like Mems get called every name under the sun because we have an opinion. Now people are starting to see that opinion as being a bit factual now. People that were Wenger's biggest supporters are finally starting to come round. If you cannot motivate your team for a game like today, when you're challenging for the title, you know that your rivals in Leicester have already won, Man City ain't playing today, right? And you've got Spurs coming up next week as well. What more motivation do you need than that? You shouldn't have to say anything. But at the same time, you do still need to get them up. They were flat. There was just nothing there at all. Nothing there.
DT, do you know what worries me as well, mate? Is that at half time I was expecting a reaction. You know, I mean, I don't know what sort of team talk Arsene Wenger does at half time, but I was expecting those players to come out in the second half like full of beans, closing them down, putting things in.
It was Herrera's goal that really peed me off, Mems, if being honest. I mean, I know it took a deflection of Koscielny, but the matter of fact, people literally just standing there, just letting that ball come across, just waiting. Oh, just expect Czech to save it. You know, it's just
there's no urgency within the team. There's no. It's like it's hard to describe, man. It's just like.
Who was the captain today? Anyway, I didn't even notice. Was it Koscielny?
Koscielny. Yeah. But again, no leaders. I thought, to be quite honest, actually, saying that, it's very hard to pick players, yeah, but I thought Coquelin played really well today. I thought he was running all across that pitch and he was working his bollocks off. But again, he was left exposed by Aaron fucking Ramsey. Disappearing. Constantly disappearing. It's no coincidence that Man United were coming through us.
Yeah, down the middle.
So easily. And you look at the first goal, Theo Walcott. Why are you giving the ball away there? Why are you trying to dribble out in that dangerous area? We would rather you just get rid of the fucking ball and regroup than lose it. Do you know what I mean? And then the second goal, it's the same again. It's the marking. It's a free header. It's what the fuck are you doing? I've seen under-7 school children have better understanding than some of that I saw today. And the second half, again, I was there and we was all sitting there at half-time and we were like, the fans were like, we're in this. You couldn't have asked for a better reply just before half-time. That is that you could sense the nervousness in the stadium. Man United fans were petrified at that point. They were like, oh, here we go. You could feel it. You could fucking feel it. I was there. I could feel it. They were petrified. And then we came out in the second half and there was nothing. Nothing. And it's like, you know, Man United were sitting there for the first 10 minutes thinking, right, let's weather this storm for 10 minutes. And it never came. And they were like, wait a minute. What's going on here?
They were taking the pee at the end. They were literally mad. They was doing tricks. The paint was just nutmegging people. It was literally an embarrassment.
You're making... Sorry, mate. Do you know what really pisses me off as well, lads, is that this is probably the worst Man United team in donkey's years, and also the worst Chelsea team in years. Yeah, Chelsea have beaten us twice. Yeah, we've beaten United at our ground, and they've turned us over here. I mean, you look at the team that we were playing against today. You know, no Rooney, no Smalling. You know. Most of them, I think they had 14 players out injured, and like DT said, they played on Thursday night and haven't trained since then. So what possible excuse is there for not beating this lot? I mean, I feel DT's frustration because as a professional football player, you surely would want to win the league, not only for your own personal glory, but for the fans or for the club and for the people that pay your wages. What more motivation do you want as a professional football player than to win the Premier League? It's like these players don't give a shit. It's like there's all they care about is finishing within the top 4, and
getting their bonus at the end of the year for making the Champions League. That mentality just comes down from the fucking top. You know, it's all this bullshit about fourth place is like a title. No doubt that we will probably finish within the top 4 this season. And some fucking idiots out there, excuse my language, Liam, I'm sorry I'm swearing, sorry Robbie, sorry about Arsenal fans and Arsenal fans TV. Some idiots will probably be fucking happy that we'll finish in the top 4 at the end of this season. I won't.
Yeah.
I'm sure DT won't, because this is a missed opportunity to win the title.
And the matter of fact, yeah, you're so right, man. Sorry to interrupt, but I've just, you know, we're talking just about how Pep's going to make City stronger. United and Chelsea more than likely are going to come back into it. You know, next season they're going to bam big. And then Arsenal's starting to drift away. And even, I hate saying this, Spurs, you know, they got a winner with Danny Rose, you know, and they're going for it with Leicester. You know, we've made this point. I mean, Mims and myself said it, and DC, you'll probably agree that, you know, if we don't win it this season, I don't think we ever will.
At the end of the day, we can't. I know everyone's very angry at the moment as well, and it's all out now, Wenger and everything else, and you know that that's not going to happen until the end. You know, right now we're not going to do that. Let's be realistic now. As much as we want it, isn't going to happen. But my scary, you know, thoughts in my mind are that even if we don't win the league, and even if we finish trophyless, let's say we don't win nothing, not even the FA Cup again, Wenger will still be in a job next year. The board, if we finish in that top 4, will not sit there and go, that's unacceptable. That is poor. How can we finish below Leicester? How could we not win this league when so many teams are so below par? Manchester United, Chelsea, and Man City, etc., etc. And I genuinely, in my own mind, I sit there and I just think, what excuses are there anymore? There is no excuses anymore. You can keep coming out and saying it's this fault, it's that, it's this, it's that. Listen, seriously, your excuses are getting tired and they're getting boring. And you don't stop people like me going to games because I love Arsenal Football Club. Arsenal Football Club are not in existence because of Arsene Wenger. Yeah, some of you need to understand that and get that in your thick drums. That this club was here before him and they will be here after him. But right now, realistically, take a step back, evaluate everything, and understand that his time has come. It's come. It's finished. It's done. It's done. I'm sorry, but it's done. What? Someone will be able to correct me exactly, right? But in all competitions this season, how many games have we lost? Are we on 10 now? Is that 10 or 11? Something like that.
That's 5.
Let me double check.
Six league games we've lost.
6 league games, 3 in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, for 10 games. 10. Yeah.
And then Barcelona the other night, so 11.
Yeah. So
11 games in the course of a season. We haven't hit March yet, and we've lost 11 games in all competition. And you're telling me that's progress?
We've lost 6 in the league.
3 in the group stages of the Champions League, 1 against Barcelona, so that's 10, and then Sheffield Wednesday in the Carling Cup. 11. We've lost 11 games this season in all competition.
And the games that we've lost, DT, as well, it's like we haven't turned up.
Yeah.
You know, you can't say that in some of those games that we've lost, we've been unlucky. You know, we've just not turned up. The performances, the desire to win, it's just there is a lot missing at Arsenal at the moment, and it's the players with no belief, it's the tactics, it's the manager. I mean, I don't really feel that Wenger inspires the players anymore. He sits there in his big fucking coat, giving it all that to the fourth officials. You know, you're looking at your manager and you want him to sort of. You see Ranieri on the touchline. You know, he's there shouting instructions, getting the players up. What the? I mean, I'm sounding like bully now, but what the fuck does Wenger do on that sideline? You know, it's. I mean, apart from having to go at the fourth official, you know, it's just. I'm just sick of it.
It's the same all the time. Excuse me for a second. I'm just reversing. I don't want to smash.
I mean,
cars
we got Swansea next. Then obviously the huge game against Spurs. You know, there's a lot of optimistic people on there, and understand. You know, we are only 5 points off, but it's just a matter of fact. Where are these points going to get dropped? You know, all right, Leicester got such an easy run. Honestly, I don't see where. Where we can even actually get them.
The Spurs game, Liam, is going to be massive. Absolutely massive. And if we cannot fire ourselves up for that game, then those players don't deserve to wear the shirt. I'm sorry to say.
We've got people tweeting in. Sorry to interrupt, Men's, but I mean, we've got people tweeting in who aren't even Arsenal fans. They're saying, watching this show for the first time, I'm not an Arsenal fan, but fully agree with the point. This Wenger's time has come. You know, I just think Wenger's got this certain way about how he thinks the Premier League's gone. Modern day football's completely moved on to when he started. You know, he last won the league. You know, and he thinks he can do it certain ways, but it's just game over, really. I think, you know, I want Wenger to prove us literally all wrong.
Absolutely. Liam, the problem with Arsene Wenger is this, and I said it about 2 years ago, is that he cannot change his style of play from week in to week out. He'll pick his formation at the start of the season, and he'll pick his style of play, and he'll continue to play that way week in, week out. It doesn't matter who we're playing against. We can be playing against Swansea at home, or Reading away, or Barcelona at home. That formation and the philosophy of style of football will remain the same. He cannot alter his style of play from opponents to opponents, but he needs to do that, because if there's a weak link in the team that we're playing against, you need to exploit that, and he doesn't. He might change players. For example, Theo might play in front of Giroud, but in terms of tactics, it's like for like, and that's what. And if you're playing against Arsenal, you know how we're going to play. And that's the problem with Arsene Wenger. He can't change it rather than going. You see Southampton yesterday against Chelsea, they played 3 at the back. You know, you see West Bromwich Albion, things weren't going well for them. They played 2 up front. When was the last time that we actually started a game with a different formation? I can't remember.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That's a good point, isn't it? Every team susses us out, basically, and they know the certain style of football that we play, and it's even like lower clubs like Swansea might come to the Emirates Wednesday, just stick 9 behind the ball, you know, and then just get us on a counter-attack. And it's little things like that. We don't change up. You know, yeah, great points. We might change up a few little players here or there. We don't actually change the style of we play. And it's been going on for so long now, and it's proven we're not winning the Premier League with the way we're playing.
What he could have done in recent weeks is actually dropped Ramsey, played Coquelin and El Nani as 2 DMs, and played another striker. You know, he hasn't done that. He's playing week in, week out, the same formation. We're struggling for goals, but there's no answers from the manager. And he's paid a lot of money. Arsene Wenger's paid a lot of money to make these decisions, and we're not seeing anything from him. He's not doing it in the transfer window. He's not doing it tactically. So what exactly is he there for? Yes, he's making a profit for the board.
Yeah, that's true.
But, you know, what exactly is he achieving? Sorry,
you answered your own question there.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. At the end of the day, this stems from the top. If Arsene Wenger's achieving what Stan Kroenke wants him to achieve, then he's not under pressure. If Stan Kroenke's aim was, you must go out there and win that Premiership and minimum get to the semi-finals of the Champions League, then he'd be under pressure. And he'd have to actually pull his finger out and do something about it. But he doesn't. Arsenal remind me of a marriage. It's like, you know, when you're in a relationship and you know it's over, and you just think, well, I've got to just, you know, maybe try, you know, there might be kids involved or something, or you kind of get that sentimental kind of feeling, and you're like, yeah, you know, so you go and get counselling and you try and get help, but really you're just delaying the inevitable. That is exactly what it's like with Arsene Wenger. We are just delaying the inevitable. It's like a marriage that died years ago.
Mate, it's like having a pet dog, an Alsatian that's stinking out the joint, needs to be put down, but you know, you don't want to take it to the vet, so you're just waiting for it to keel over. You know, it's exactly that, isn't it? I mean, I've just seen a quote from Arsene Wenger on about the game, and he says, Wenger on Manchester United, let's not go overboard. They had a very experienced midfield and they spent a lot of money.
Oh, wow.
I mean, some of the players I couldn't even actually name for you. That's yeah, I mean, they were putting on new debut for some academy kids. You know, they would take Depay, as hardly played well at all this season, but he starts nutmegging our players.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Depay is fucking awful, man. He's got a bigger arse than Beyonce. And you're letting that guy sit there and do step overs and stuff. It's like, behave, will ya? Seriously, I've had enough of it, and it's just the same old shit. And I'm sat in traffic, and I've got people that sound like Coronation Street walking all around me, and it's like, for fuck's sake, when am I actually going to come here again and we're actually going to stand up and be counted?
Wasn't it 2006 the last time we won at Old Trafford in the Premier League?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Adebayo, wasn't it?
Yeah, the two snakes combined.
Says it all, really, doesn't it? And then people start tweeting us pictures of RVP, Nasri, and all them old in the Premier League, and it's just us sat here early.
Yeah, it's like,
do you know what winds me up as well is that, I mean, you know, there'll be fans out there who would be watching this probably, who would be a little bit critical of our opinions, and they're saying, "Oh, you've got to stick by Arsene Wenger. You know, he's going to come good." I can understand why some fans are, you know, very loyal to Arsene Wenger for some of the things that he's done, but even those who are heart on heart, who really truly trust Arsene Wenger, surely finally now, should start waking up. Because sooner or later, you know, you can't keep on. You've got to stop making excuses for him. And rather than attacking the likes of me, DT, other people on Twitter that criticise Arsene Wenger, why don't you just start looking at yourself and start thinking to yourself, do you know what?
It's like that quote, isn't it? Something about insanity, doing the same thing over and over
again. Wenger's actually
and
just come out and said, Wenger on title race. We dropped 3 important points today. We need to bounce back on Wednesday night. I mean, he's been saying that since the defeat against Southampton on Boxing Day. You know, bounce back. Oh yeah, we'll bounce back tomorrow. Oh yeah, we've had so many clear-cut chances to go. Just literally have a massive gap from first and second. But once again, we're dropping points to the likes against Norwich, Southampton, so many more. We're just shooting ourselves in the foot, and it's just same old Arsenal.
Same old, and it's just. Oh, it's just like I'm waiting now for a couple of players to come out with the customary quotes, which are that, you know, we must bounce back from this. We must stick together. We must do, you know what? No, maybe you lot need to actually go on that pitch with a bit of fucking passion. Maybe you lot need to go on that pitch and stop playing like a bunch of fucking cunts. Excuse my language. No, actually, don't excuse my language, because I'm sick and tired of fucking seeing that shit. I'm sick and tired of it. What?
DT, do we blame the players or do we blame the manager, mate? I mean,
both. Because at the end of the day, some of them players are not good enough, and if they're not good enough for Arsenal Football Club, that's not their fault, right? That's Arsene Wenger's fault for buying them and for putting them up there on the pedestal as being the world's greatest. Yes, that player's world class. You know, this is the same guy that said Manuel Almunia was world class. Fucking dickhead. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, how long do you persist with it? And this is the problem that I've got now, is that if a player isn't good enough, I'm not going to sit there and criticise them. I'm going to say, you know what, they've been thrown into this situation. They're not good enough. Let's not be critical of them because they're not good enough. Let's be critical of the manager that says they're good enough, but yet they clearly ain't. This man gets paid £8 million a year. And all I keep getting is, you know, it's like they watch every Arsene Wenger press conference, right? And they seem to just write down little quotes that Wenger comes out with, and then they use it in an argument with you. Have you ever managed a game before?
Yeah.
What club have you ever done? Who have you ever signed? But it's like, fuck me, if I close my eyes, it's like listening to Wenger. It's like, what fucking quote did you get that one from? It's like, and this is the problem. It's, how long do you keep sticking up for him? All you Wenger lovers, how long do you keep sticking up for him? Stop living in the past. Stop living in the first 10 years. Because, yes, okay, he done some amazing things. Yes, woohoo! George Graham done some amazing things. But then he went and took a backhand and disrespected the club. Yeah? He had to move on. Not the same scenario, but again, there comes a time. And it's, you know, what is this? So we got to live in the past now. We Liverpool fans here. Oh, I remember in the day, you know, I tell my youngest boys and that, yeah, I remember when we won the league title. One day you may see that, but maybe not.
Not under Arsene Wenger.
Not under him.
For now.
Liam, DT, I just want to ask you a quick question, if I may. I mean, I don't know if you saw a couple of days ago that Alisher Usmanov bought more shares and is now on the 30%. Do you think that if Usmanov was to take over from Kroenke, the mentality around Arsenal and around the manager with regards to strengthening in the transfer market will change.
100,000,000%.
Yeah, definitely.
Without question. The guy's even come out and said it. The guy sat there and questioned Arsene Wenger. At the end of the day, the guy, you got to remember, is the guy owns 30% of the club. Now, I don't know exactly what 30% of the shares at Arsenal are, but that's a fucking lot of money. Yeah, and at the end of the day, he wants to see his investment, and he knows that although we're making money and we're ticking over and we're doing all these kind of things, there's potential for more. You know, you've got to speculate to accumulate. At the moment, we're on that breadline. It's like we're doing exactly what they want to do, which is the bare minimum. We're making our bits of profit. We're doing what Stan Kroenke wants us to do. But if we take ourselves to another level, and we ended up being on the level of your likes of Barcelona's and your Bayern Munich's and stuff, there's a hell of a lot more money involved. You know, but the problem is to get to that level, you have to spend money. Now, they don't want to do that. They don't want to spend that money to get to there. So they're like, well, why do we have to spend any money when we're doing okay as we are?
Yeah.
But it's a matter of fact,
fans,
me and Men's were talking just about even like a threat of getting the ball in the back of the net. The majority of the goals I've kind of seen this season, in a sense, they've just been kind of luck. You know, and even just from the set piece, or, you know, I mean, beautiful finish from Ozil, but, you know, the lucky bounce, and Ozil got a bit of luck, you know, went into the ground at a good height and went in the goal, you know. So it's even on the pitch of our finishing, we just have this thing, if we don't want to shoot, just give it a go, which other teams, you know, see Herrera, yeah, let's have a go, let's see what happens, got the bit of luck, because you only deflection in the back of the net. Why can't we do that?
But we've seen Sorry, DT. We've seen it in the past with Alexis Sanchez. I mean, last season he was taking shots from everywhere, wasn't he, outside the box? And you've seen him swerving or take a deflection again off the top corner. He ain't doing that no more. You know, Ramsey is not shooting. You know, I mean, who's having shots from outside the box? I mean, it's some of the goals that we've been scoring recently. It's set plays. You know, Ozil's free kicks, Welbeck's headers. I mean, if that's how we're going to score goals, then play Giroud up front. Yeah. It just seems odd that, you know, no one's prepared to have a dig. You know, it's like the players are zapped with confidence. I don't know if Arsene Wenger even tells them, don't shoot, pass. You know, why don't the players just take it amongst, you know, the initiative to have a dig from outside the box? I don't understand. When was the last time Alexis Sanchez actually fucking scored a goal anyway? You know, Burnley.
FA Cup.
He's a player that seems to be absolutely no confidence whatsoever. No confidence. You know, I mean, this is
I'll tell you what it looked. Sorry, I'm just saying quickly while I remember. But the thing I say about Alexis today, he was his old self in the sense that he was running around and working his bollocks off, and he was covering so many different positions today. But the one thing I noticed about Alexis today that really stood out for me was how pissed off he was. He was so pissed off. It was like he was running around, and it was like he was just, you know, doing it, but like looking around, saying, "Come on, who's gonna fucking help me? What's going on? What have I got around me? You know, what have I got around me? Is this what I've fucking been subjected to? Is this what I've got to play alongside? Who else wants it? You know, bar a couple that looked like they really wanted to get their foot stuck in. You know, I thought Welbeck had a decent game, a bit rusty in certain touches or whatnot, but he put himself about and he worked hard. And he's just come back from a fucking nearly a year out. Do you know what I mean? So, and like I said, Coquelin, and it's there's players out there where I just look at them and I think, what are you doing? How are you even getting anywhere near this Arsenal team anymore?
Do you know what with Alexis, DT? Do you know what it looks like to me? It's a player that looks like to me that he's lost his belief in the club and the direction of what the club's going. Okay. And I think his contract is up for renewal now, and it's almost like he's accepting now that he's not going to stay. That's how it seems to me. It's just that he knows that this is not the place for him.
It's even Ozil, Menz, if I'm being honest. You know, he's trying his best to create and assist and you know, there's only so much the bloke can do, and you know, he's looking for someone just to show a bit of urgency, a bit of fight, a bit of willingness. And the thing that really peed me off today was, I think we touched on it a little bit earlier, just Ramsey just looking back, going in circles, looking back, does a pass, then and, you know, get on the counter attack.
Yeah,
it puts a lot of pressure on us. Then we have to go back. You know, we're 2-0 down, whatever. It's just frustrating with Ramsey being so selfish. His qualities and his self. I mean, that season when he scored the volley against Liverpool, I think it was the 2013 season. You know, I don't know where that Aaron Ramsey's gone now, because he's just been awful.
The problem is that with Ramsey is that we miss Cazorla massively.
Definitely.
Because what happens is Cazorla gets the ball and his first intention is not to pass sideways or backwards, it's forward. Every ball Santi Cazorla looks to play is forward. Forward, 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 forward. He does not have a sideways button or a reverse. It is just forward. And what that does is that it's quick release, it's going forward. The ball drops to Aaron Ramsey, and his first reaction is sideways, behind. Oh, let's twirl around on the ball a little bit, and no, let's go sideways again, and let's go backwards. Or let's try and put the ball forward, but put a hopeless pass forward. It's substandard. It's just not good enough. And there's players there within our club that are just not good enough to take us to that next level.
I'm seeing Wenger in DT, like literally on social media, saying, "What's Wenger saying? They've got an experienced midfield."
It's
You know what I
incredible.
mean? Experienced midfield.
It's incredible.
They had Michael Carrick at centre back, for fuck's sake. He makes Mertesacker look like fucking Linford Christie. Fucking hell, man.
I'll tell you what. Arsene Wenger should be a politician. You know these politicians, when they come out and they make excuses for like going to war, or make excuses for why things are on strike, or they refuse to answer the question. They come up with some utter bollocks. Arsene Wenger should be that politician.
Yeah.
Because his excuses when it comes to football, I can't even watch the TV anymore when he gives an interview, because I just really want to pick up my fucking table and throw it at the TV. His voice irritates me. I can't bear to look at the guy anymore. But
that's how it's got. That's exactly how it's got now. And that's the sad state of affairs. It's just...
Where do we go from there? It's just a matter of the fact of, Arsene Wenger, he's baffling so many people. And look, we're not trying to say we're more than experts than Arsene Wenger, but when you've got... I'm just going by social media as well, and a lot of people saying, what's he saying? What is going on in that guy's brain? Is he just looking at the game in a completely different way?
I think
is he just...
Yeah. He is. He's that guy, I'm telling you, he's got more waffle than Captain Birdseye. I've had enough of it, and it's like, it's got to stop. It's just, end of the season, man, I want him out. I said even if we won the league, I wanted him out, because there's been enough problems and deficiencies this season to say that he's not going to be able to make that step up next season with the managers that are coming into the league. You look like Chelsea are getting that Conte, and Guardiola's going to City, and Mourinho looks all but certain to be coming to United, and it's like, Jesus Christ, man. And I just don't think he's going to be competing with them. I don't think he's going to be taking us to another level. At the end of the day, we're sitting here coming into March behind Leicester and Spurs. Now, if you are telling me that is progress, then someone needs to come and wobble your head. Right?
Mate, we can't compete with the big money at Leicester, mate.
Oh,
selling
22 billion.
We can't compete.
Oil money at Leicester, all that oil money. Jesus Christ, man.
My sides are hurting me. I'm actually.
Jamie Vardy, £1 million from Fleetwood Town, eh? Mahrez.
Mahrez, 500 grand or something. It's like.
You know what winds me up as well is that these we can all laugh and joke, but there's actually genuinely some people out there, like. There's a couple of divs on Twitter, like the geezer that behind the meerkat picture. You say something about Arsene Wenger, and he literally jumps down your throat. Oh, go and support Spurs. Go and support Spurs. You're not Arsenal. It's that mentality that's wrong with Arsenal at the moment.
he may as well go and support Spurs because he's fucking plastic as anything. Blackburn George, fucking melt. What kind of idiot puts a meerkat? What kind of idiot puts a meerkat as their display picture? What is he, 5? Fucking spastic. And I hope he's watching this as well. And when he's got the balls to fucking at me, tell him to do it as well. Dickhead. Same as Jeff as well. What another fucking melt. Let's suck Arsene Wenger off. No wonder you suck him off, because you used to be a ticket tout, you convicted.
Wait. Hang about.
Yeah, I'll say it.
Let's come back to reality.
Oi, this is live. This is live, so it can't be edited.
Oh,
fuck off.
Well, Henry Winter from the Times has I was just seeing his tweet. He's made quite a good point. He said, not just on the field, Arsenal lack leaders, boardroom too. Nobody has the power, personality, or willingness to call Wenger to account. And I think that's spot on.
Yeah. I have
Henry Winter. I'll tell you what. That's brilliant. I'm going to retweet that. Who said that? Henry Winter.
Yeah, from the Times.
Fantastic.
It makes a change. We agree with people like that. And this is the thing that quite annoys me as well, right? Is that I'm blocked, for instance, by Piers Morgan, right?
I'm not. He follows me.
Yeah,
get him on, man.
You two are best mates. The fact is, right, is that in one breath he talks a lot of sense in the fact of what he believes with Arsene Wenger. He can see the same thing that I can, Mems can, etc., etc. It's just a shame that he's a cunt. But how long are we going to put up with this? Seriously, I just don't know how much longer we're going to have to put up with this.
The thing with Pierce, mate, is that I think a lot of people.
Where the fuck am I going?
You're going towards Everton. Listen, mate. The thing with Piers Morgan is that his actually opinion about Arsenal is actually spot on. A lot of the Arsenal fans dislike him for his comments that he made during the Arsenal Galatasaray game at Copenhagen, and the fact that some Arsenal fans consequently lost their jobs. That's why a lot of Arsenal fans dislike Pierce. But when it comes to his actually opinion of Arsenal, he's spot on. You know, and the thing is as well is that the likes of Pierce, the likes of myself, the likes of DT, the likes of Claude, the people that have come out and questioned Arsene Wenger over the years, who have been told by other Arsenal fans to jog on and support other clubs. You know, it's not like we want to be proved right. The thing is, I would gladly eat humble pie, and so would DT, and so would Pierce, and so would other people, if Arsene Wenger, one who was proved wrong. But fans who have defended Arsene Wenger for this now eat humble pie and put their hands up.
I think Mem seems to be having a few technical difficulties.
Of mate. I'm in the ghetto.
You're still around, Mem.
I've blatantly taken the wrong turn, haven't I? This looks like Beirut. What the fucking hell am I? It's I don't know if you guys can see that properly, right? But that is just like the
gentlemen, are we still there?
I'm still here. I might not be in a minute because I might be under attack from fucking mortar fire and shit. Look, it's like I'm in Beirut. Manchester, sort your shithole out. What a ghetto dive, man. Oh, I need to go and have a wash.
Get out of there while you still can, DT.
Get out what you can! Get out what you can! Oh, I need to fucking end something. I'm so pissed off.
Mem seems to have disconnected, so I guess they're just leaving.
How bad it is.
Leave us to the moment of finishing up here. Obviously, massive thanks to Mems for coming on for the first show of Time Added On. Obviously, I'll be trying to do the majority of away games, as I do go to quite a lot of home ones, so there might be a new host for the home ones. But
I'll fucking host the home games.
Yeah, go for it. We've got Swansea next. Let's pray, mate. Let's pray we can get 3 points there. Massive thank you to the hundreds of people watching live. 5 points off the top now. Leicester going to have to drop a few. We're 3 behind Spurs, so it's really not looking like we're in a good position. Points especially need to be dropped from Leicester, I think. I think Spurs might fall in some areas, but Leicester, they got such an easy run now And I know they were lucky; they obviously got the last goal. But before we close up, TT, just final thoughts from you.
Load of bollocks. Not acceptable. Same old, same old. Time for a change. Time Wenger came out, held his hands up and said he's not good enough, and the players are not good enough. And in the summer, a lot needs to be done. A lot of changes need to be made, including him. Simple as that, really. Can't say no more.
And Mems, final words from you, mate. Is Mems there? He might still have a few techno difficulties.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just said, really, we've just had a performance all day. Cheers, Mems, for coming on, pal, and cheers, DT.
Sorry, lads.
Hey.
Mate, are you there, Mems?
Yeah, I'm here, mate. Sorry about that. I think I kicked something. I don't know what happened, but I apologise.
No, just final words from you, mate.
Final words from me. Apologise for the bad language, Lim, and it's good to have you on. And congratulations for being a new host to Arsenal Fans TV. Time added on, well deserved, and happy birthday for yesterday, DT. Absolute pleasure to speak to you again, mate, and safe journey home. And to all the Gooners that were travelled up to Old Trafford today, you gave it your everything. It's just a shame that the players didn't. And let's look forward to for the next coming games, and hopefully we can get back to winning ways. Stop the Spurs from winning the league, because how embarrassing would that be? And Wenger out. Finally.
I'll deactivate if they win the fucking league.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you everyone for watching live. This has been Arsenal Fan TV. Time added on. Bye bye for now.
Cheers.